You're not wearing your wrestling gear?
So no, I'm heartbroken and ashamed, but my Rip 'em T-shirt never came.
Yeah, my Hulk Hogan hair and mustache did not come either.
Man, this COVID is messing up all of the good gimmicks.
Hey, watch him with Dan and Tony. Hey, watch him with Dan and Tony. It's like watching, yeah.
Tony, are you ready to face down on the Hate Watching with Dan and Tony, where we watch No Holds Barred with the one, the only Hulk Hogan, WWF, WWE wrestler greatest of all times?
I really felt that kind of faded towards the end.
Faded?
Yeah, it started really strong, and then it turned into this weird ding at the end. It was great. I love it. Yeah, it's great. I'm ready, brother.
That was Hollywood Dan Goodsell, by the way.
Hollywood Dan Goodsell coming in strong. Oh God, I'm ready to talk about this movie.
So yeah, this week we're doing No Holds Barred, Hulk Hogan's first feature film where he is the lone star, center stage. He's the guy. He's probably in at least 50% of the movie, or maybe 40% of the movie.
I think it's got to be closer to 40, and I was very confused by that.
We're going to get into that. 1989, Vince McMahon and Hulk get together. Hulk, his number one star at the time, I assume.
He had to have been.
To have been, yeah. So they're like, okay, movies, that's where the money is. And I'm sure I don't think they lost money on this thing.
Supposedly they just made their money back with all the advertising fees and stuff. At one point on one of the shows, one of the WWF, I think at the time, shows, Vince McMahon made a joke and said that Hulk, if it didn't make the money back, Hulk said he was going to do something.
And he didn't.
Vince was like, I'm waiting. I'm waiting because we didn't make any money.
A kind of interesting thing about this movie is when you sort of look into it deeper, no, but they don't really talk about it. There's not like this sort of, bunch of information about this. So I got to clean my glasses really dirty.
Oh, no.
Sorry.
You look like a schlub.
If you're listening on the podcast, I just cleaned my glasses. You'd think with this being a major wrestling movie, there would be a lot more talk about it, but there really isn't.
This should be like a cult class. I mean, it's probably not good enough to be a cult classic, but all signs point to it should have been a cult classic, I think.
Reading some of the reviews, it seems like a lot of the wrestling kids at the time watched this movie and liked it.
At the time, but they don't talk about it now.
Oh, really? So they
I hang out with a lot of wrestlers. For the listeners and watchers, if you don't know, I do a show called Wrestling Pro Wrestling. Just putting that out there. Check it out on Twitch.
And
nobody talks about it.
Who do you play on this wrestling? You're like Tugboat Tony or Johnny Bowler? Who are you?
No, but that's great. I mean, you're just describing what I wear, I guess, because I wear a bowler hat for one of my characters. I play two characters. I play both a heel and a baby face. I am Uncle Gary Tickles is my heel character. He's the owner and proprietor of Wrestling Pro Wrestling. And then I also play his twin brother, Tony Tickles, which is the baby face, who is there to kind of save it. But now right before we went, great storylines, by the way. Right before we went on hiatus, Tony Tickles kind of stole a bunch of the Wrestling Pro Wrestling characters and created his own wrestling community called Pro Wrestling Pro. And now they were going head to head, and then we had to shut down. But some really exciting stuff over there. Check it out. That was like a 2-minute ad for the show.
No, I mean, we're going to dig deep into your wrestling. You're the wrestling aficionado, so we have to.
I regret now not bringing on a character by the name of Serial Man, he might literally murder me for saying this, but he may or may not have been slightly inspired by Hollywood Hulk Hogan. And he's kind of like our big baby face, our star is Serial Man.
So wait a second.
Should have had him on the show.
You're the star of the show. You're the guy that runs the show, and you're the twin brother of the guy that runs the show.
No.
That's what you just said. You just said you're the star of the show.
Serial Man is the star of the show. And
isn't that you?
Yes, not me. No. This is like a legit wrestler. He also watches the show, so he's going to be super pissed at me.
Oh, you mean you could have brought him on as a guest or something?
Yes. Yeah, we should have brought him on as an expert wrestler talker. That's not the words for it. Maybe I'll do like a follow-up and release it on Twitter or something.
Maybe you will. So, in No Holds Barred, this is a movie. It's an hour and 32 minutes. Yeah, and basically it's Hulk Hogan. I don't know what to say about this movie.
You don't? I have so many notes. This is the most notes I've ever written.
There are 3 laughs in this movie.
Wow. Okay, disagree, but continue.
And sadly, the third laugh is at like the 30-minute mark. So you got another hour to go.
It gets emotional. It gets real. It gets gritty. Come on, Dan.
Does it get emotional? Does it get real? Does it get
Hulk cries? He cries. I think he was really crying. It was pretty good.
Oh, this damn bandana's falling off. Hat back on. So we start out, we meet Rip, who is played by Hulk Hogan, and Rip is wrestling Jake Bullock, I guess. No one I've ever heard of. And Jesse, the Body Ventura in weird gold dreads, is doing the commentating, which he does not do enough of, which we're like, oh, this is moderately interesting. And then Jesse's gone for the rest of the movie.
Well, of course. I had a question about this opening scene. There's no answer to it. It felt weird that some people were real and some people were not. And then some people were called themselves, but were not playing themselves. Like, it was this weird mishmash.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
It was because Jesse the Body Ventura was called Jesse Ventura. Like, they said, this is Jesse, but that's not Jesse. I've never seen Jesse dressed like that. I don't believe that was him at the time. I don't think. But then, you had like Mean Janine, who was just playing himself. Or Mean Gene, sorry.
Oh,
Mean Janine is from Wrestling Pro Wrestling. But Mean Gene,
the other commentator guy. Yeah, I've heard of him.
But then they didn't use a real wrestler, I don't think, that he was wrestling. So like
Jake Bullock was the guy's name.
Yeah,
I've never heard of him.
I don't know. I guess I could be wrong. But it just felt weird that some people, like, the world was very confused from the jump. And it was a rough start for me.
So there's a whole wrestling scene. We also see that Randy's got a younger brother. Rip's got a younger brother, Randy, who is just this kid who like also has a friend, and his friend has a girlfriend who they just kind of come in and out and don't
that's
really.
Who the lady is?
The other girl, I think, is his.
I didn't even put that together.
His friend's girlfriend, I believe.
Okay.
So the interesting thing about the wrestling is there's all these overdubs of like them doing animal noises. Grrr, there's no like banter for the most part in the wrestling. It's just it's a lot of animal noises,
and all of it was ADR. There's so much bad ADR in this movie. Like, words are coming, but people's lips aren't even moving, and we're shooting behind people's heads, so they're like, they won't even know that he's not really talking. It was bizarre to me.
So I think in the middle of it, we cut to the evil suit guys, which is Mr. Brill and then David Paymer and this other guy. And so, and we will find that Brill is actually the main character in this movie. This movie is about him. And then we cut back, and then then we finish the fight, and there's a sleeper hold, which was about the
Dan,
weakest.
You are really going through this intro. This intro sets up a lot of stuff that doesn't make any sense. So we need to slow roll. No.
Well, the evil suits there's more suits at the end. We'll talk about that.
Okay. We'll circle back to the suits.
So the fight sort of finishes with the Bigfoot. Hulk foots Jake in the face. And that's sort of the, but
Right,
there's a sleeper hold, and then there's a Bigfoot, and that's sort of the end of the wrestling. The wrestling seemed really weak to me. It seemed very undynamic and very, very sloppy. I mean, it felt like you should have been shooting it from a quarter mile away, but they were shooting it from like 5 inches away.
Yeah, so it's weird because obviously Hulk, great wrestler, dynamic in the ring. Two things like really stood out to me in the intro of this movie, maybe three. One, Hulk acting like a wrestler is so much worse than Hulk being a wrestler on the show that it threw me for a loop. He can't even pretend to be a different wrestler. It was very confused. Like his Rip stuff was really bad. He's like, Rip, I'm Rip. Rip's gonna get him. Rip. Like, but it wasn't like Hulk. Like Hollywood Hulk Hogan is dynamic in the ring. He's so good and he's great on the mic. But his Rip character is just blah. So I was very confused on that, how he couldn't play a wrestler even though he is a wrestler. Very strange to me. And second is the wrestling itself was all bad. It was mediocre, slow paced. Like there was nothing exciting about it. And I was like, we should be able to at least do quick enough cuts that we don't see how slow Hulk really is. Like it's weird when you're far back and watching it from the ring in real life. I feel like it's not as apparent, but when you're up close and you're like in the action, it just really feels like a slog.
Yeah, because when he puts him in the sleeper hold, whoever gets put in the sleeper hold, you're just like, the guy's just moving around. He's like not even held. He's just, I'm choosing to stay in this position because I understand that this is what is supposed to be happening now. And so you don't feel any, I don't know if jeopardy is the right word, but you don't feel like anything's actually going on.
Which is interesting because I'm pretty sure, and you can tell me if I'm wrong here, but I got the strong sense that they are saying that wrestling's real in this movie.
I don't know. I worried about that when I was a kid. And then once I watched wrestling, you realize it's just entertainment. And so you don't it's
a beautiful dance, like it's this beautiful mix of choreography and making it up on the spot, improvisation, right? It's awesome. But this movie to me made it seem like they were saying it's real, which is fine. Like I'm okay with that. It was just weird to me.
I'm just glad. Actually, I'm glad they didn't get into it really, because that would have bogged down the whole thought process of the movie, which there's not a lot of thought process.
No, there's not
in the movie. So then we go back to the evil suits, and Brill does a whole thing where he's like, "We're last in the ratings again." And does a whole thing where somehow the only show that matters is Rip's wrestling, which isn't even a show.
It's not. Just, yes, exactly. It is not even a show.
It's just sort of Rip wrestling shows up on television at 1 hour a night or 1 hour a week. And this is somehow the only thing that's important to the network. He yells at everybody because they say, "What about a new game show? What about a new soap opera?"
So let's talk about this scene, because nothing in this scene makes any sense to me. First of all, did you catch the backstory that he gave himself, this Brill guy?
He just got into the job like 2 months ago or something?
No, he didn't put a number on it.
Oh.
Some months ago is what he said. When I took over the network some months ago, and I was like, what? That's the laziest writing I've ever heard in my life. At some point, I took over, and now you're up to speed. Thanks, guys. But what doesn't make any sense to me is that he's not only is Hulk's show not a show, but he's not pitching a show. He's just saying, we need this guy on our network.
Yeah.
That doesn't really make sense to me.
No.
Like, it doesn't. Well, I don't know. It's so weird.
Well, the one thing I did read about this movie was that they had the script, and Vince was like, this script is garbage. And so he and Hulk went out into a cabin somewhere and rewrote the whole script.
They Tarantino'd the script?
Yeah.
They went and locked themselves.
They locked themselves. I don't know if it was a cabin, but they locked themselves away somewhere for a weekend or maybe a week. I don't know, maybe 2 days, maybe.
Or like a night.
Or a night. And so that's why when you watch this movie, it's like the bad guy, Brill, is Vince McMahon. And so Vince, so you can tell that Vince is like this is the character, he's evil like me. He only cares about ratings like me. There's a very much a like me. So if you look at it from that point of view, he's like, because there were competing wrestling shows, right?
For sure.
WWF was always competing with not the Undertaker, but the Crow guy, whoever that white-faced guy was. I always remember. There was Goldberg. Is he an actor now? Is he out
aren't they all actors now?
But I mean, I was watching like some CSI or whatever show, and I was like, is that Goldberg? Like,
I would say for sure. He was in a commercial like a year or two ago, so he's definitely acting.
Okay, so I think that's what the whole thing is this is the dynamic that he lives in, and so he wants to see that dynamic somehow reflected, as opposed to having a secondary wrestling syndicate that he's in charge of. Whatever.
No, he had no show. All right, let's keep going.
So then we were at the next morning, I guess, and what's it? I guess then we go to the next morning where we have another meeting. So we had that meeting, then we have another meeting right the next day where they're supposed to bring in things. Then we do the sitcom idea, and he yells at what?
Oh, no, finish your sentence, because it's about that.
He abuses the woman, which we see that the way that this movie shows us that someone is bad is they are horribly abusive towards women.
Yes! That is the one defining characteristic that all of the bad people in this movie have. What is that about, Dan? That was so off-putting.
Yes, there's like maybe 3 times in the movie where someone literally really abuses a woman, and you're like they're bad.
Hits her, makes them cry, like almost rapes them, which we'll talk about at some point, I'm sure. It's bananas.
Yeah.
Why? How is that I don't know. It's very weird. But having said that, if somebody pitched me a sitcom with Rip, I would also yell at them and tell them it's a terrible idea and you should get out.
And so they're World Television Network. So
that's right. The best television name ever. The World Television Network.
A really sloppy logo. It's just wonderful. And so, of course, Brill is like, what's his price? Because, everything is about money.
Right. And Hulk apparently has this high morality because he won't budge out of other people have asked him, but he's a man of his word.
It's not a word we ever see, not a word we ever understand. And we'll get to that in the next one. So then we see, I think he gets picked up by a limo. Does he get picked up by a limo? Something happens.
Yes. Well, because he comes to a meeting now, right?
We don't know that. He's just like,
sorry.
We don't even know, but Rip is being ushered off somewhere. I think in a limo, and then he gets to the place and there's like or maybe he drives his own car. I don't remember. And they let him out, and there's like the guy that takes your car, the valet, and he's like, yo, Rip. And Rip's like, yo, valet guy. It doesn't say anything, but you could tell that he's a man of the people.
The people. Yes, he is beloved.
And so he's in Brill's office, which is not set up at all. Just like, boom. Brill didn't set up this meeting. No one set up this meeting, but lo and behold, Hulk is in a meeting with Brill.
Which is so confusing because he also then says he's not interested.
Yeah.
When Brill is like, hey, you want to do this? He's like, no, I'll never do it. And it's like, well, why are you here? How did you get here? Who motivated you to get into this office? You have no interest in being there, but you came there seemingly of your own accord. It doesn't make any sense.
And Brill is such a jerk. He keeps on sort of doing things to almost set Hulk off until he sets Hulk off.
Right. So this is like a theme. This happens several times throughout the movie where much smaller people antagonize the Hulk by pushing him and hitting him. It's like, if I was in front of Rip, I would never do anything to upset him. That guy could tear you in half without a problem. And it's very weird to me.
I was going to say that earlier. There's one point at the ring at the first one where you see Hulk and you're just like, this guy is gigantic. He is
jacked.
He is just, bald with the crazy hair, but the giant mustache. But he is there's other wrestlers that are bigger. What's it? The Big Show. That guy is as big as a mountain. But Hulk he's in the top end, I think, right?
Oh, 100%. Yeah. That's why he's a megastar.
That's why he's a megastar. So he gives him the blank check. Rip says no, and you got to this point where you're like, Rip, please say one line
What?
as to why you're saying no to like this. It's a blank check. He could write 75 million. He could write $1 billion on there.
Right.
But there's no rationale.
He could literally take a huge chunk of money, pay off his other contract, and then still walk out with like 20 mil in his pocket.
But he doesn't even say that. He doesn't say he has a contract. He doesn't say he has a contract. He doesn't say, you're an asshole, I don't want to work for you. He doesn't say, our organization helps orphans, which it does later. He doesn't tell us anything. And
he just says, no, not interested.
No. And then we have one of the great lines of the movie. Brill says, "You jockass."
Oh, yes, I wrote that down. He says it a couple times, unlike, not to bring it back to other movies, but unlike Stealth, where they had that great one-liner and never brought it back. Like, he says jockass a couple of times, and I was like, yes, I am using this for my life. Yeah, jockass!
And so
good.
Hulk gets mad and stuffs the check in his mouth.
Which is, telegraphed a mile away. But it took too long to happen because he grabbed him first, and I was like, just put it in his mouth. We know you're going to do it. Just do it. So talk about the limo ride, Tony. Oh my God. I have questions, Dan, again, about how cars are made. So
I think they're made in Detroit and Japan.
Not where they're made. Structurally, I don't understand when he's kicking the door.
Yeah.
Right? And then we cut to the outside.
Dents.
And it's like very pointed shaped dents. It's not like the door is coming out just at an angle because he's smashing it. It's as if his foot is making impressions against the actual door itself.
Yes.
Which that's where I get confused on how doors are made, because I feel like there's some layers in between that would make it more of just a bowing that would happen.
Well,
but I guess I don't know.
You gotta remember, a door it's two pieces. There's the outside metal, and then there's plastic inside, and then the windows in the middle going up and down with a bunch of mechanisms and things like that. So you'd have to crack all that plastic and get through all that to start actually denting the outside door.
Probably shatter the window, I would imagine, as well.
Yeah, I would think so. Yeah.
So anyhow, sorry, that was a tangent. What my problem is that this is the first, but not the last time that we see our hero completely lose his frickin' mind. Like, he is belligerent, he's violent, and he's just totally off the rails. And I was like, I don't want to root for this guy.
Oh,
he's nuts.
You turn to get so basically they're driving crazily through the streets, the limo driver, and so Rip is in the back, falling apart, and then he starts kicking everything, trying to kick out the windows, and then it launches into what?
Well, so the problem, I mean, again, back to how cars are made. Why is the limo driving so crazy?
No reason.
Because he's just kicking like the sides mostly, but the driver is like jerking all over the road and running into stuff. And I was like, I don't understand what he's affected by. I don't know what's happening right now. He's just driving crazy.
He's trying to keep Rip off of his game.
So he's swerving to try to keep him off balance so he can't bust out the limo.
Exactly. Duh.
Okay,
so they launch into this abandoned warehouse area, which they scouted a lot of abandoned warehouses and turned them into a lot of weird things for this movie. And there lying in wait are three more guys, and we get just this great grunting, laughing. He picks one of the guys up by his hair at one point, which I liked. I liked that a lot. I thought that was good. Yeah. And there's just this battle by the limo. How did you feel about that battle by the limo?
There were moments of fun, but again, a lot of it was just kind of slower. Like, these guys are much smaller than Rip, right? So theoretically, they'd be able to move a little bit, get out of the way. Like, he's swinging real slow. I feel like I could get out of the way, and I'm not super agile. I just feel like you just kind of do one of these, and it swings by you. I don't know. So it's just, I don't know if he was slowing it down for the camera, kind of like Jackie Chan and Bruce Lee had to do. They had to slow down their moves a little.
Oh, okay, sure.
So the camera could catch his action. Maybe that's what he was doing because he's so fast.
Yeah. He's so fast.
I don't know. He just feels sluggish through the whole movie. I know he's not. He's a big guy, so he's moving slower. But it just, I don't know. Do something in the editing to make it feel a little more dynamic because it's very slow fighting for me. And then he dunks the guy into the sunroof, and the guy just like laying there like he's injured, but nothing. He just picked him up and set him in, and I was like, just crawl out. You're fine, guy. So, I don't know.
So eventually he drags the limo driver who's just been sitting in there out. And here we get the first big laugh of the movie. He holds him and Rip goes, What's that smell? And the guy goes,
That's good.
Dookie!
Dookie!
I laughed my ass off. I thought
Did you really?
Oh, I absolutely laughed my ass off. I did not. He says Dookie, and I just barely understood it. It was because there was like a note, maybe there was music or something, but I was like, he's like, he just said Dookie. That's so stupid. I'm on board with this.
You're on board.
I'm like, we finally reached the point where I want to be with this movie, where it's like Dookie jokes and maybe, but of course there was all this grunting and weird laughing that was dubbed in, yes, which was just horrible.
So, okay, a couple things on Dookie really quickly. I think you have to make a choice because this movie has very little comedic, anything. And then you go all the way to a guy screaming Dookie. Like that's a big jump for me. And I'm like, okay, if that's the track we go on the rest of the movie, I'm okay with it. But that was really the only joke of the movie. Because it's so, I don't know. So I just felt like it was super out of place. And I did not end up laughing until much later when the movie was over. And I was recanting tales with my wife. And I was like, okay, no, I do like it. I just wish there was more ridiculous humor in the movie to justify it.
Sure. It's just a good line that everyone remembers. So we go meet Rip's agents. He didn't have his agent with him when he went to see Brill, but who knows?
Nope. He didn't have lawyers. He didn't have any team representation. He's fine.
We meet Samantha, who's this Kelly the Brock Light, I wrote. And
that's mean.
I know. She was very attractive.
Oh, yeah.
She's a very pretty green dress at the end. So they I don't know, they talk about stuff, more merchandising, more this, and then does he ask her out to dinner, or does she ask him out?
She asked him. So first of all, let's backtrack, because if you remember from the last scene, I'm kind of out on Rip because he's deranged. Now, they've doubled down and made him the creepiest man on the face of the planet, which is it's a weird scene for me because, like we said, the movie depicts the villains as abusing women.
Sure.
But Rip is so creepy in this scene, staring at this businesswoman. He's in a business meeting, and he's got his thumb in his mouth at one point. He's like, oh. I was like, what is happening? This is so inappropriate. And I'm 100% anti-Rip in almost the entire movie.
So she says, dinner, ... dressy.
Because he dresses like a wrestler in his normal day life, which is very strange to me.
So we get to the dinner place. It starts off with this big church-looking stained glass window, and I'm like, "Is this church? Are we at church?" And then there's
that's what I thought too.
There's a harp player, and then we get down and we find out that this is their dinner date. So they get
fancy restaurant.
They get seated by the really obnoxious French waiter.
We're missing the glory that is Hulk Hogan's
outfit
suit. He's dressed like an angel. He's all white with his white hair. Like he is the epitome of good. That's what I got out of this. It's like, this guy's as good as it gets. Be on board. And I'm not, obviously. I don't like him. But it's a ridiculous outfit.
So the waiter's a total jerk, and he's jerky, and then the busboy comes over, and then the busboy leaves and goes and gets the waiter, not the waiter, the head chef who
manager.
comes, head chef
yes.
who comes out there, and lo and behold, we find out. I think she says a couple of obnoxious things. Oh yeah, like Rip couldn't order off of the menu because he's too stupid.
Yes, everyone was ragging on him because the American doesn't understand, yada yada yada. And then guess what? Not only does he understand, he speaks French and has been to this restaurant many times.
And he asks for the usual.
The usual. So is his waiter new? Is he new to the restaurant?
They did say he was new.
Okay.
There was they did drop a line in there that the chef was like, "Oh, you're new here. You do not know Rip." Yeah.
I don't know, man. This doesn't make any sense. Also, their accents are all terrible.
Once again, we're seeing that Rip is a man of the people.
But he's a man of the world, people, not just America. He's beloved
everywhere
all over the board.
So now we're back to Brill, of course, because he's the movie's about. And they have gone to this weird, horrifying bar, him and his two assistants. And the bar there's wrestling there. There's just all sorts of stuff. Why did I write guy from Big Trouble? Oh, the guy that was the star of Big Trouble in Little China was at one of the other tables and did a couple of gag things and then disappeared.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the Asian guy that was the counterpart.
No, you're right.
He was at one of the other tables and there was like a gag with a woman and then he's gone. And you're just like, okay. And so there's wrestling going on, and there's this obnoxious waitress woman, and there's a little person who's in a cage dressed as like a drum majorette, and he's throwing peanuts down into their drinks. This is the second laugh of the movie for me. I thought that was not that it's a little person in the cage, but that he's sitting up there throwing peanuts into their drinks is just so insane. It's
crazy. This whole scene is the craziest thing I've ever seen. I don't understand. Okay, I have a lot of questions about this scene, Tam. First, and most importantly to me, where does this movie take place?
Los Angeles.
Okay, that's what I thought as well.
Yeah.
But every single person in this bar and all of like the lower status people of this movie have like super hick Southern accents and like disgusting as if they're these crazy hill people.
Sunland.
Is that a town in California?
Yeah, Sunland.
I guess I'm taking a trip this weekend because I gotta know what this reference means.
Don't go to Sunland.
I have to go to Sunland.
I don't know what I'm being disparaging of the people in Sunland, but this
yeah. I did not understand where they went for this wrestling match. I have no idea where this bar is. As far as I can tell, it lives in some like weird David Fincher universe that is parallel. I don't know. Super weird. And then the waitress, her gag is like that weird mucus thing that what is happening there? Whose choice was that? I might have believed that this actress went to work the first day and was like, guys, do you mind if I do like a really funny bit with my nose and just the whole time? Or I might have believed Vince McMahon was like, hey, sweetheart, why don't you give me I don't know. I was so taken aback.
We probably need to track down the script, but that's for another day. So now we're going to get to my favorite part of the movie and my third laugh of the movie. And then this is about a 30-minute mark, and that's when this movie ends for me.
Oh, wow.
So Bill's two assistants have to go to the bathroom. So they walk over and they say,
"This was your laugh?"
Oh, God, yes. I love this part so bad. It was so good. So they're like, I got to drain the lizard and whatever. So the bathroom.
He's trying to fit in with the people.
He's trying to fit in with the people. So I went and I made a special list of the bathroom. This is a 27-minute mark, bleed the lizard. So they go into this dirty, disgusting bathroom. The first joke is spray paint on the outside is VD room.
VD room. What? I can't believe you laughed at that, Dan.
Greatest joke ever. VD room. So good. It's so good.
God.
So it also so they're going in and it has those plastic strips, like where and so you have to push through the plastic strips.
Which is so gross.
So gross. And then they get in and there's 3 urinals. One of them is filled with liquid to the brim. And there's pools of stuff on top of it, like mold growing. And there's like a beer can in there too. And then we get to the best part of the whole movie.
Oh my God.
Chained up in the back of the bedroom is a dog, and the tag dog that growls at them.
Yeah. All of that happened somehow. I can't believe you like that so much.
It was so funny.
Oh my God.
God, it was so funny. And then nothing else in the movie was funny.
So here's what's interesting about this scene is I thought what you were going to laugh at was the tiny Wang joke that comes up.
That was dumb.
No, so you just like the setup of the room.
The setup of the room. Because it felt authentic. It felt like someplace that you could end up going into. Because like if you looked at all the graffiti, I'm like pretty sure that place was real.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm not convinced that the set decorators were like, okay, we're doing all this. Because the graffiti looked very real. It looked like someplace that you would, I used to go to punk rock clubs way back in the day in the 80s. And you would walk in places and you'd just be like, I do not want to touch anything here.
Go this right now. I got to turn around.
Very, very bad.
Oh my God.
So the big Brutus guy comes out and is going to like dunk their heads in the toilet. And he doesn't do it because they have tiny dicks.
Yeah, teeny Wang.
Teeny Wang.
That's the part that I laughed at. That's fair.
VD room. And so anything else to say about this situation?
I did not like that scene at all. I was so viscerally upset by the way it looked. Like I spent the scene like this.
There it is. That's funny.
Yeah, no, I mean they did a great job. They really let me feel it.
So now we have the announcement of the Battle of the Tough Guys. Where did they do the announcement of the? Did they do it out in front?
The ring. So Zeus comes in.
No, that's later. He's not there yet.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's at the Battle of the Tough Guys. So he
announces it outside. So we're out now. We're outside of the bar later. That's what happens.
They do like a transition where the guy's like, "Who's gonna watch this?" or something like that, and then they cut to him making the announcement at a press rally.
Battle of the Tough Guys. We see the bars in the background. There's this big, beautiful neon sign. If you look at that sign, I looked at it again. It's gorgeous. It's like,
really?
It's beautiful. You're like, oh my God, they spent money on that sign.
I got to get a neon
And
sign.
so then we go inside, and so we're having Battle of the Tough Guys, $100,000. We're trying to find the toughest guy, which I thought it was going to be, at the end of the series, you get the 100,000, but they give Zeus the 100,000 at the very first one.
So this is my question. Because then he continues to battle.
Yeah.
So the show is still going on. Does he get 100K every week?
Not clear, but the implication was, yes, he gets 100K each week.
Like every time you win, you get 100K. That's unbelievable.
It's great. It's great.
That's so much money.
So, the no count bar, which I liked, and it's an octagon, which it might be new to professional wrestling.
Yeah, when did the UFC start? When was the Octagon? I don't know.
There's a movie. There's a movie called The Octagon from the 80s, maybe from the 70s. I remember from when I was a kid.
So it's definitely around.
So the Octagon, I think, was always sort of a mixed martial arts sort of thing.
Okay.
That had existed. It's like a Thailandy kind of thing. I think
sure,
we could be proven wrong, but my understanding, my cursory understanding. So then so Brill walks through there and meet some of the guys, and then we have one guy who's called Bulldog McPherson, who slaps his own head. And I thought of you, Tony.
You thought of me?
Yeah, he looked a little like you.
Oh, that's so kind of you. I was rooting for him the whole time.
So then we have
All 10 seconds.
we have the big battle, and so guys just start wrestling and fighting.
So
That.
I need to talk about the general setup of this quote unquote show.
Yeah.
First of all, Battle of the Tough Guys, terrible name. I don't know what boardroom approved that, but they should all be fired. There's no referee.
Nope.
There's no rules.
Nope.
How did they get approval to do this from a network television show?
Well, they're in charge. Bill's in charge of the network.
That's just not. So he's in charge of the network, sure. Yeah. Where are like the ratings people? Where's like the approval process? We are not in a post-apocalyptic world where you could just kill people.
Sure.
No, don't say yes because we haven't seen that.
Sure.
They haven't shown me a world that this would be okay.
That's this world.
There's no stop saying that to me.
This is the world. This is the world where those things occur. You can do anything in this world. You can assault people, as we will see, and this is a no repercussions world, kind of like wrestling. Are there real repercussions in wrestling? Does anybody ever actually die except Triple H?
I mean, yes. Didn't one of the Harts died too, right?
A lot of wrestlers die.
Yeah, like they die all the time. Anyhow,
but nobody goes. But Vince McMahon doesn't go to jail for wrestlers dying.
No one really does, do they?
No, because you.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is.
It's one of those. It's a culture, right? You know, and it's like you can't really turn on the culture. I mean, you can leave the culture, but you can't turn on it because. Ugh.
That's an interesting point. That this whole movie is a wrestling world, as opposed to wrestling being in the world.
No,
wrestling is the world. I didn't think about it like that. That's
not to be facetious, but it is. This whole thing is kind of a reflection on how that. How that world works, and where there aren't, it's like you can come up behind a guy with a chair and beat him over the head with it, and there are no repercussions. If he can't, he's not going to sue you or take you to court or anything. And this thing, people are put in the hospital, and
people are dead. People are dead before this movie's over. But we'll keep going.
Are there? Oh, well, yeah, sort of. So they're battling, and then Zeus breaks down a door, I think, and then he comes in, and it's Tiny Lister, who's not a wrestler, who's like an actor. And I did not know this about him. He played Zebo in Friday.
I guess I didn't remember that. But
he is so good in Friday, as I remember it. I haven't seen it in years. He is terrible in this.
In his defense, everyone is terrible in this movie. I don't think there's a single redeeming actor in this movie, is there?
That dog in the bathroom. That dog in the bathroom rocked it out. I love that dog. That dog killed me. It killed me. That dog killed me. It was so great. He's like, there's like this line, and then he's chained to the line. I think he's a boxer. And
I do love boxers.
Boxers usually not violent dogs, but if a boxer wants to kill you, you will die.
Oh yeah, they're pound for pound. They are fierce animals.
Boxer is one muscle as much as pit bulls. So Zeus comes in and I wrote down hurts a woman. Does he hurt a woman? He must have hurt a woman.
Yeah. He literally grabs her by, like, I thought he was going to pop her head. He grabs her and like lifts her up and then throws her down the stairs. And then I was like, oh, okay, he's the bad guy. Got it. Which is so infuriating. So
somehow they're watching it in Rip's mansion, which I bet you that mansion was Hulk Hogan's mansion at the time. See,
I would buy that.
Those are the questions I wanted answered about this movie. It's like, this is Hulk Hogan's. I want to know where these locations were. I would like to know more information. Where is that bathroom so I can go visit it?
I need to go right now.
So one of them said, either the brother or the friend says, "You could take this guy," as Zeus is like mopping up the floor with whoever's in there.
Which is another thing to me that signifies that they're saying that wrestling is real in this world. And it's important to notate this only for, otherwise the Hulk shouldn't even be involved in this thing, because this is a fight club. What Brill has created is just a televised fight club.
I think we have the answer to your question, which is the next line that comes out of his trainer, he says about Zeus, he killed some kid in the ring.
Mm-hmm.
Wait for it, after the bell.
Yeah.
So you have to. So if Zeus had killed someone in the ring
before
the bell,
about that.
thumbs up.
Totally fine. Don't worry about it.
Part of the situation. You died. Tough luck. What are you doing? You should have gotten out of the ring before you died. But if you kill him after the ring, then it's a problem.
Right. Yeah. The bell is the thing. You got to do it before the bell rings. You're done. All right. Oh God.
And then I also wrote tear out hair. Did Zeus tear out some guy's hair?
Yeah, the guy on the ground, he just scalped him a little bit. I don't know. Which is such a weird, and he like presents it to Brill's camp as if like it's a trophy. I don't know. It's weird.
Nice. He should have like these scalps. He should have like a belt of scalps. That's you should do that in your wrestling thing, belt of scalps.
Okay.
And then you
start putting it together.
You tear off the scalps, and there's like, do they ever do any like really bloody wrestling where there's all sorts of blood appliances?
Do you mean in my wrestling?
Yeah.
Oh no. We're a wrestling comedy show.
Squeaky clean.
But I have a guy, acquaintance. I'm kind of friends with him, who used to do like backyard wrestling. His name, Sick Nick Mondo.
Sick Nick.
Pretty famous.
Yeah.
But like one of his matches, he took a weed whacker to the chest, and like it's gruesome. It's tough to watch. But that stuff exists.
They're not gags.
It's very
they're
scary.
Actually bloody.
Yes.
I was like
100%.
doing like
you mean jokes,
like joke gags, where like.
Oh,
you're wearing a bald cap, and then there's blood on there, and then he scalps you. The blood's everywhere.
Then the answer is yes. We do things like that, but in a ridiculous way. We had a monster get decapitated. We do a lot of costumes, a lot of monster building,
sure.
And one of the monsters got his head torn off, and then like his spine was out, and it's pretty cool.
Okay,
it's dope.
See, that's good. So we're back to Brill in his office. They're number one in the time slot with Battle of the Tough Guys, and he's got the telegrams to show it.
I don't. I'm confused.
Why are you confused?
It doesn't even really matter because who? What is it? The same time slot as the Hulk's show? Did they switch time slots?
Well, no, it can't because Hulk's at home watching the show while it's live.
So what time slot? Why does it even matter? He's not even technically beating Rip. He's just like number one in a time slot. So I don't understand what's happening. But it's fine. It's all fine.
So then we go to week 2 of the battle. And this one occurs in a foundry. And there's all these metal workers, and then the guy he's fighting is
in the fire.
There's fire. He's fighting the guy Lug Wrench, or maybe I made that up, or maybe they called him that. And he has.
I don't know. I hope they did though.
He's got a big metal tool. Yep. Weapons. So weapons are allowed.
There's no rule. People are dying in this ring, Dan, for sure. There's no doubt in my mind that people are dead.
I don't remember. So was there anything interesting in that battle? I don't really remember. I didn't write down anything.
Of course not. Absolutely not. This is the only note that I wrote here was, so does he get 100K every time he wins? That was the only thing I took away from this scene, is they never mentioned whether or not he was getting 100K again.
Yeah, I mean,
I wanted to know.
Like looking back, now we see that Hulk wrestled in the very first scene.
Yep. And
he has not wrestled since.
He hasn't done anything since then. He went on a date that was pretty bad. He's barely in this movie. So, there's no like build up to his character to get to the final battle. Like, we're following the wrong people through the movie.
So Zeus has had 2 matches, which he's won unequivocally, and Hulk's had 1.
And Zeus didn't even come in till like the 20-minute mark, or maybe even more. 30 minutes, I think you said, was when the bathroom was, right?
Yes, 27 minutes.
So he's done more in the latter half of this movie than Hulk does the entire time.
So I wrote Hogan trip. I don't know what that means. Did they go on a trip? Because they end up at a diner what happened before the diner? They end up in this diner where it's a woman that Hogan's like, oh, I'm going to take you on a trip, maybe, and he takes her off, takes the manager
I don't
woman
remember
off.
how they got there.
And they end up at this diner, which of course I'm going to take you someplace really nice, and it's just this piece of shit diner. Like that felt like a set.
Diner food. I love diner food, so like I'm okay with it. But to call it to like build it up is probably wrong.
He does a whole build up, and he's wearing like his baby blues,
which is the shirt that I want. It's a baby blue shirt, and it says "Rip 'em."
And
it's
then,
in the mail, guys.
Of course, at this point, robbers show up. 2 robbers with guns, and they're like, "Everybody get on the floor!" and da 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 da. And Rip's like, "Oh no!" Rip says, "Everybody get on the floor," and Rip beats the hell out of him.
Which is my biggest problem with this scene. Is Rip literally tips off the bad guys that he's about to fight them. Because he just yells to the whole restaurant, everybody hit the floor, and then the bad guys aren't still paying attention. One of them gets hit with a stool. Like, if you are robbing a place and you have a gun and somebody screams, my first reaction would be to look directly at him and possibly shoot him. Yeah. So, terrible robbers for the first, they're the worst robbers in the world.
And there's a lot of pies thrown. He throws pie after pie.
He destroys all of the food in this restaurant and just mangles the whole place.
He destroys the entire restaurant and saves the $27 in the register and risks the lives of everyone there.
Everyone's dead. In the real world, everyone has been shot because those bad guys just started firing their guns, right? And he caused, I would say conservatively, like $50,000 in damages to this restaurant. Like the restaurant needs to be rebuilt at this point. He's breaking things. He's destroying the walls. And then everybody claps.
Because he saved them.
Which is a second. There's a second time at the end. We'll get to that as well, where they clap and they should. Like, this guy is a villain, Dan. This movie, in my mind, he is a villain in this movie.
Hero to the people. So, that's why they went on this trip. I don't know why they were on a trip, but that sets up they have to stay in the motel. There's only one motel room. So he and the agent have to stay there together. He sets up.
This is a great scene.
No, it's not. The scene's so dreadful. He sets up the curtain between them where it's like one side or the other. What movie is that from, Tony?
Oh, no, I have no idea.
It's totally ripped off from this old Clark Gable film.
You think I've seen a Clark Gable movie?
No, I don't think you've seen a Clark Gable movie. Which I can't.
What am I, 80 years old?
I can't think of the name now, but they did the exact same thing. So that bit's ripped off.
So it's a recycled bit.
And so he's listening at the door to her. She's listening at the door to him. We get this nice shot of his ass.
Hold on, slow down, because that reveal was my biggest laugh of the movie.
His ass?
Well, sure, but the reason why we see his ass, do you remember why?
Because the camera operator's in love with his ass? I don't know.
Maybe we're talking about different shots, but it's after they're like in bed and she wakes up and the bed is shaking.
No, there's another shot of his ass before that. So
let's wait till we get to mine because it's amazing.
So they go to bed and then she's laying there and we hear this weeky, 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 and the whole bed is moving. And we're like, he's jerking off, or he's having sex with God only knows what. He's snuck a woman in there.
Inanimate objects, probably.
And then we'll tell them what is really going on, Tony.
She's curious. First of all, it's so weird to me. Like, if you wake up and there's a giant, if I'm trying to put myself in a woman's shoes, and I'm in a bed, slightly uncomfortable, and I wake up and the whole bed is shaking after I just kind of rejected this dude, and I'm like, oh, I think he's jerking off. I'm either running out the frickin' door.
She can't, because he's on the door side. I'm gonna
cower in the corner and pray to God that nothing bad happens. But instead, she's curious and she wants to see this guy's D, which understandably, because they showcase it a lot in this movie without ever showing it.
That's true.
But they're like, they want you to know that Hulk's package is pretty great. So she peeks behind the curtain and it turns out that he is doing the world's fastest push-ups because to get the bed to shake that way, and his breathing was like there's no way he's doing push-ups that fast.
He's doing push-ups with his feet up on the bed.
That makes him harder. It's a great move.
So
but then you get the curtain pulls back and you just see his butt perfectly clenched, like just solid as a rock there, Dan. And he peeks over his butt to her. I don't remember what he even says, but some sort of witty line, and it's amazing. It's a great scene.
So he finishes, and then he's like, now I'm going to jump in the bed. So he jumps to the bed and destroys the bed. And she rolls over on top of him. And she's like, I'm not like one of you, like your ditzy groupies. Which, of course, we have seen no ditzy groupies.
Right.
That would have been fun.
He's not a ladies' man. He's not. I don't know. That has no bearing to me whatsoever.
And then I don't really remember what happens then.
He gets all huffy. He gets defensive, and he storms out of the room. He's like, "I'm going to go sleep on the couch in the main room because you're no fun. You can't take a joke or something like that." And I was like, "What is happening?"
She just destroyed the bed. You've left her in the room with the destroyed bed. What a gentleman!
He's a bad guy.
So the next scene, we see her in Brill's office.
Wait, Dan. I have a note. We have to talk real quickly about before everything we just talked about. They're both brushing their teeth, and she is brushing her teeth in the bathroom where you're supposed to do it, and he's just out in the main room brushing his teeth dry.
Ugh.
Is that a thing?
No.
What do you do with the toothpaste? And then he takes a swig of mouthwash, and he's doing. He doesn't have anywhere to spit it, so he's like looking for a place to spit it, and that's when she comes out in her bra. Great scene. That's when she comes out, and then he swallows the mouthwash.
You're not supposed to swallow mouthwash.
You're definitely not supposed to do that. He swallowed toothpaste and mouthwash in like 30 seconds. He's gonna die. The guy's dead.
I'm glad we went back to that. One of the high points of this movie is Hulk Hogan brushing his teeth.
I'm sorry. It bothers me.
So it turns out she's working for Brill somehow. And
okay, you didn't understand it either?
Well,
because this twist, I was like, no, she's not.
Yeah, she is.
And is she a hooker?
No.
He said he paid her to seduce him.
Yeah. So he found out that she was his manager, so he paid her to seduce him. That's why they had the one hotel room. She set that all up. I got
that part. I understood the end, but I didn't understand. I don't understand when I don't know. Okay, continue.
And so she has fallen in love with him, of course.
Obviously. Because he's so charming. And so she's fallen in love with him. And so Brill slaps her, and so we know Brill's evil. Right. Yeah. Again, thank goodness that they did that, because otherwise I was like, is he a good guy? I can't tell.
So she runs. What? Yeah.
I was so confused at the plot twist that she was paid by him.
Oh, you were surprised? Didn't you see that coming? I saw that coming.
I just don't understand the situation. So you're saying that she was always the manager.
Well, she got
that part was real.
Yeah, of course, because she worked for that company, and then he knew that she worked for that company and was his new manager, and so then she paid him off. He paid her off,
and then he bought her off.
Yeah. So
she has no morality, whereas the Hulk has tons of morality in this movie.
Yeah.
Okay.
Except when he's leering at her like she's a piece of meat.
Right. Except for when he's a total creeper. Yeah.
So she goes crying to Hulk, says, "Forgive me." Hulk forgives her instantly. Whatever.
Well, she cries in this scene, and it's only important to note that she cries because she is a terrible crier, which I think, now that I've seen the whole movie, I think is on purpose, because Hulk has to cry later. And so I think he was like, hey, you need to be worse at crying than I am, so when I do it, I look like a good actor. That's my theory.
Yeah, she's really, deep down inside, she's a good crier. So then we cut to Hulk Hogan's teach kids to wrestle challenge / whatever. So he's teaching kids how to wrestle, and then a helicopter shows up and flies down, and then Zeus and Brill get out, crashing the party, and they get right in Hulk's face, and I challenge you to the battle of the big guys. And Zeus probably says something. I didn't write it down because it wasn't interesting. Zeus doesn't say anything.
I don't think he does.
Oh, Zeus,
I think he just growls.
Zeus growls at him, and Hulk just sort of looks at him. Then they get back in the copter and leave.
Yeah, because he never responds. Hulk, and he doesn't really show much emotion. He just kind of holds the children back and just kind of looks at him.
Wait, I think
what's happening?
The kids were chanting Hulk, or they were chanting something, and Rip.
I mean, it had to have been Rip.
And Rip didn't do anything.
No, he did absolutely nothing. He doesn't respond. He doesn't say, no, thanks, I'm not interested, or like, call me later and we'll talk about the details. He just stands there, just doing nothing. So
then we have the whole scene where they try and kidnap the girl, and then Hulk shows up on a motorcycle and defeats the kidnapping. Why they were kidnapping her? What? It just like when they with the limo and taking him to the thing to beat him up. They like do these things for no reason.
Doesn't make any sense. Yep.
It's like all of wrestling. It's just everything. Yes.
The wig didn't come.
Okay, thank you.
Just disappointment. Hi.
So things they just do things. We're gonna kidnap the woman because we need this 10-minute bit. And so Hulk comes on the motorcycle and eventually gets one of the guys on the front of the motorcycle, which he then throws into a tree.
Hold on. There's two things we need to cover real quickly. One, Hulk shows up and she is basically mid-rape. Like, her clothes are tattered and the guy is on top of her.
Oh, is he really? I don't remember that.
Yes, 100%. That's why, like, I don't know. Maybe that's not what they were going for,
I shouldn't be laughing.
That's what it feels like. I think you can laugh because this movie is ridiculous. My only thing is, all Hulk does is he rolls up, he looks at her, he goes, "You okay?" And then he drives off, doesn't wait for an answer. Like, he shows no emotion for her whatsoever. He drives up on the motorcycle, the guy takes off, he looks at her, "You okay?" And then drives off. Doesn't care.
Doesn't minister. But see, that's always actually. I gotta say, that's what he's supposed to do, right?
No, I don't think so.
One of my most giant. This is a pet peeve of mine. Every movie in the world where shit is going down, we're in the shit storm, and like there's the person on the ground, and they stop and they like spend 25 minutes. Like, you know, the world ends in 26 minutes. Well, I will spend 25 minutes saying, "You okay? You okay? You all right? You need a pillow?
Yeah.
You need a blanket? You need a this?" As opposed to going and doing the thing that needs to be done. Rip is like,
"No, Dan."
Rip is, this is where Rip is, his emotionless care not is going to get the job done. Because he's like, I am not going to waste my time.
Cost, Dan?
But she said, what did she say? She's like, thumbs up. Not fully raped.
Thumbs up.
You know, you give me the thumbs up. It's like, I'm taking care of the business. Yeah, I can always come back to you. This guy might get away. I got to pick him up and throw him into a tree with my motorcycle. I can't. I don't want to have. I hate that scene. That stupid scene they always put in movies where it's like, yes, I'm going to show that the person cares. "Oh, are you okay? Oh, I was worried about you. The world is ending. The bad guys are getting away. I'm pointing a gun at the bad guy. So he blows up. Oh, I can't do anything ever again."
Dan, we put those scenes in there because without the goodness of people, saving the world doesn't mean anything.
We know Hulk is good because he teaches kids to wrestle and gives them snow cones.
He is the bad guy of this movie. He is a bad guy, and this scene proves it to me.
He's a creep.
He has no compassion. He only cares about killing. Okay, so now let's real quickly talk about the motorcycle. Wait, what?
Zeus is going to have a third match before he's even had a second. Okay.
Yes, 100%.
The motorcycle. So there were two guys. There were two bad guys, weren't there?
There were two bad guys, but we only see him defeat one of them, as far as I can remember. But the problem I have with the scene is that Hulk is on a motorcycle, which is a pretty small vehicle, all things considered. But this guy happens to run out just at the right angle that Hulk can hit him with the motorcycle?
Sure.
What kind of a human being gets hit with a motorcycle while they're looking at it?
Stuntman.
It's one of the It's one of the easiest vehicles to dodge. That's all I'm saying. Like, all you have to do is move a foot to your left, and you're clear.
They nailed that guy in Charlie's Angels.
That's true.
So now we get to like the third match, Zeus's third match, Hulk 1, Zeus 3,
Yeah.
where he's fighting Mr. Crowbar, and in a train. This one's in a train station, weird train station. So Zeus wins. I don't even write. Once again, I didn't write anything down about the match because it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter at all.
And then Rip's brother and his buddy are there, and then Brill's guys figured that out. They're like, oh no, they're like, oh, you're wearing.
They tell them.
Yeah, well, he's wearing the Rip shirt, and so they're like, oh, you're fans of Rip, but you're come over to the dark side to Zeus.
Oh yeah, they're like, we've converted Rip fans. That's
no, we're Rip fans, and then they fight. I'm his brother, and so Zeus.
The friend is like, no, this is Rip's brother, which is, you're an idiot. You deserve to get the shit kicked out of you right now, you dumb idiots.
Shut up! Shut up! Shut up! Shut up! Once again, stupid people saying the quiet things out loud. So
ridiculous.
So then Zeus, they're like, you can't take Zeus. And so Randy's like, I can take Zeus. And so Randy like swings at Zeus, and Zeus just destroys him.
He throws the first punch, Dan. What are you talking about?
So I guess it's not assault. If he threw the first punch, Zeus is all. So that's why there's no police
full
involved.
Defense. That's right.
You throw the first punch, man. Zeus can tear your trachea out and throw it on your dead body.
He was afraid for his life, obviously. So that's totally justified. Oh my gosh.
So Zeus just beats the hell out of him.
Which I never saw coming because the brother's such a big guy. So dumb.
So then, wow, before we get to the hospital, I guess, Rip goes to Zeus's funhouse / training facility. And this is the part Tony loved because he just tears through it like a madman to like crazy rock music.
He is crazy, Dan. Our hero is totally unhinged. He's on a warp. He's just destroying things for no reason.
So
I cannot get behind him. I'm sorry.
Did you expect there to be something behind that neon sign?
Yes.
So he throws something into a neon sign, and we're expecting it to crash, and they're being like the bad guys or something. And no.
Well, they kind of set it up like just visually with the filmmaking that Hulk looks at the sign and then it cuts to the guys watching through the screen. So you're like, oh, they're behind that area. And somehow he knows he's so good. And then he destroys it. And it's not that. It's like, okay.
So then we go to the hospital and there's Randy. He's like in traction. And Samantha, I guess her name is Samantha, the woman. She's like reading a book. I couldn't tell what book she was reading. I'd like to know what book she was reading. Look. Because she seems kind of disinterested. She's just like, am I in this scene, or can I just read through this one and sort of skip
That's
the whole
just the
scene?
book she brought to set that day. And she was like, you guys do your scene. I'll read over here.
And then does Rip announce that he's going to fight now? I don't remember how we sort of find out that he's actually going to fight.
I don't even know.
I wrote down, now it's my turn. Maybe he says that. Somehow we're clued into that Rip is chosen to battle Zeus for the final thing.
So, I guess I don't remember how they get there exactly, but
we start the training montage next. So something happened in the hospital room. A decision is made in some way, shape, or form. I don't know how. I don't even know if this is communicated to Brill, but.
They said, at one point, I remember the friends were like, he stood up to Zeus and this is what happened, which is untrue. He didn't stand up to Zeus. He started the fight, but it's fine. Doesn't really matter. So I don't remember if he like officially announces it or not, but then we go into what I guess you would call a training montage, except for the Hulk isn't training.
It's just the greatest training montage ever. You don't really, like I said, I didn't laugh since the bathroom scene, which we'll talk about the bathroom scene again at the end, and the dog VD room. Yes, we will. So the training montage is Zeus training on all these life cycles, which I'm sure Life Cycles paid some money for that. Which
for sure,
they were great. And then and then Rip is just helping Randy with his physical therapy,
trying to learn to walk again from the paralysis. So he's not preparing for the battle at all.
No,
He's just like,
it's so good. It's very good. It's very good.
is it good?
Yeah, I think
It
it's
doesn't make any sense. But it's to the same upbeat, like montage 80s music that you would normally see. And it was just like it just slows. It's so weird. It's such a weird juxtaposition for me.
so we get to the final match. Randy's there in the wheelchair. I wrote Aquanet. Someone must be using Aquanet hairspray.
Okay, I don't even know what that is.
And they fight, and Hulk wins.
Well, okay, what are you talking about? You can't just skate over this magnificent scene. Let's first of all, we got to talk about the kidnapping that happens.
They grab the girl.
They grab the girl. So they set it up as they have this elaborate elevator trick. The bad guys are like, "Is the elevator ready?" And they're like, "The elevator's ready. Don't worry." But they don't really do. All they do is wait outside the elevator, wait for everyone else to go, and then grab her and bring her into the elevator. They didn't have to set up the elevator at all. They just had to stand by the door. What a ridiculous plan that is.
Now, do they keep her in the control room for the whole thing? I don't even remember.
Until she escapes, yes.
Okay.
But my favorite part of the movie, Dan, and this, I'm hesitant to actually say this because I think it's probably very offensive. But the hardest I laughed in the whole film was when they kidnapped the girl and the brother, who's very sadly paralyzed, is in the chair and can't turn around. And he goes, "What the hell's going on back there?" I lost my mind, Dan. It was
so you're laughing at the disabled. That's great, Tony. That's wonderful. This poor kid's in a wheelchair, beat up by Zeus, and you're like, the funniest thing was when he couldn't react. His disability.
But they made a point of making him react to that point. Like, it's the writing that made me laugh because you don't need to show that. That's such a weird thing to show, is that they just kind of push him out of the way and everyone else turns to fight. And he's like, "What's going on back there?" It was so unnecessary, and I couldn't handle it. I lost my mind.
So there's a big fight. They fight in the ring. They fight out of the ring. They fight up the stairs. They fight to the control room, and then finally, Hulk wins. Rip wins.
Well, he murders him,
and he takes him, and he throws him off the thing. Right?
Yep, throws him like 2 stories onto the ring, which breaks, completely collapses.
Does it? No, it doesn't.
No,
That's
you're right. There's just a
do.
circle in
this
the middle.
Perfect circle goes down in the center. And you're just like, why is there a circular pit in the middle of the ring now? They didn't even I don't know.
No, I know it's ridiculous. But then they cut to him and he's got blood coming.
Blood.
He's dead.
Blood.
Quite literally,
Blood.
This man is dead, which is very important. Okay, the Hulk just killed a man, not only on TV, but in front of all of these people. And then what does he do next, Dan?
But did he kill him after the bell? Nope.
As far as I know, there was no bell because there's no rules.
It's fair to kill. So then
But what does he do after?
I don't know. Have a soda pop?
No, he goes up to the control room.
To kill that guy.
And gets the other dude electrocuted to death. He fries him.
And that's when we get the other line. "Stay away, you jackass!" But actually the guy does it to himself because he was tearing out the cords because he was trying to stop the thing, and then he backs into the stuff and electrocutes himself.
This is a technicality as far as I'm concerned, Dan, because the Hulk was coming at him. Okay? This guy tried to run and got tangled in some wires and died. So then the entire arena erupts into applause. I've got issues. One, they just watch this man kill 2 people that they don't know are actually evil. They love this show. They're a fan of the show. They love Zeus and they love the owner of the show. And this guy just murdered them both in front of them, and now they're applauding? It doesn't make any sense. Stop putting on this outfit.
Tony, you have been defeated by Hollywood Dan Goodsell, the greatest wrestling comedy movie commentator of all time. You shall take your place below him because he is the greatest of all time.
That one was good. That one held up much better than the one in the beginning. I don't understand. He's not a hero to me. He is a villain throughout the whole movie, and then he murders people in cold blood. So I got issues.
Final thoughts?
I feel like that was my final thought. Oh, I think I had a question on the show itself.
Battle of the
There's
Tough
only
Guys?
one. Yeah, Battle of the Tough Guys.
Sure. How is Hulk Hogan on that show when his show's at the same time, even though it's not at the same time? Many questions.
It's the same time slot. They're beating the ratings, so obviously maybe it's because Hulk isn't there, guys. That's why you're beating the ratings.
Could be. He's off taking family
Is the
trips.
show 10 minutes long? It's only one fight.
If you start to look at movies and start to think about time is a very dangerous thing when you start to look at movies because everything happens in these tiny increments of time.
Well, I mean, I agree, but there's no fight card. So there's one battle, and the battles don't last very long because we watch them front to back, right?
Yep.
So my question now becomes:
well, there's interviews.
Are there
think pieces? You know,
you can't just make this up.
I mean,
you don't see.
I've
I've
been watching like the Eco Challenge, and it's just constant interviews.
Constant interviews. I don't think Zeus would be a very good interviewer.
Think about Survivor.
Zeus.
Think about Survivor, right? Every show's an hour, and how long do those things take? 6 minutes. Like they do two 6-minute challenges,
true.
12 minutes. It's like 48 minutes of commercials and blah blah people talking. So there's probably like Brill talks about. So Mr. Brill, what did you do today? I went and had a soda.
Okay, great. Zeus, what about you? Zeus. That's all the guy says.
We probably have these great training montage. Zeus has that his training center's all decked out. So
that's true. It's pretty nice.
They probably shot,
nice. And they got cameras all over.
All sorts of B-roll there. You don't know.
I really don't know. I really don't.
Because this movie's not rooted in any kind of reality, and that's sort of the problem with it. Is if it was Gonzo, but like I said, that one guy that reminded me of you, Tony. This is how he hit his head with his hands.
Is that why he reminds you of me? Because
no.
I'm afraid to hit myself.
He just looked a little like you, and he had similar build. He didn't, he wasn't even trying. It's like
for sure not.
And that's this movie. They tried to do a thing, and it accomplished some stuff. And I'm sure this set a road for wrestling to become what it was.
Yeah,
and I mean, wrestling over the next 20, 30 years is a lot different now than it was then.
Oh, definitely. 100%.
And the characters have improved, and the storytelling has improved, and this, Vince McMahon is still Vince McMahon, and you don't want to have anything to do with him because he's crazy. But
I do feel like even he has kind of figured things out a little bit more. Like he really leans into that heel vibe now, even more than I think he did back then. So I mean, you're absolutely right. Like we've grown leaps and bounds, I think, in the industry.
So things have to start somewhere. There has to be that sweet little egg that births a baby bird that doesn't grow up and becomes a smoker and just sort of wastes its life away. That's this movie.
Jesus Christ. That's dark. Those poor birds. So my final thing I want to say is the music of the movie, which is used far too sparingly. There's only 3 music cues in the movie.
There were at least 3 or 4 songs, and then the final song. There were 2 country
music. The best.
There were 2 country. The final song I wrote, "Will You Stand with the Best?" It was a good little song. That was good.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
I really liked it a lot.
And then the other songs felt like they were sort of realish too. They weren't terrible.
Yeah. No, but there's a lot of scenes in the movie I think would have benefited from music,
Sure.
but they only really highlighted the music during the fights, which I don't know if, I mean, it was
Yeah.
obviously intentional, but I don't know what the purpose of that was, because I feel like there was a lot of moments where there was just like dead silence in the movie where I was like, this would really help with like a score, maybe.
Well,
something popping.
I'm sure I didn't watch any, but I'm sure if you go back and watch those Rocky movies, they're probably scored incredibly well. Where just like every montage is just like da 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 da, and you know, a movie like this just doesn't. They don't have the budget or the wherewithal to understand and to do all that stuff, which would, you know, I mean, yes, real music set to all these wrestling things would have made them interesting. As it was, they were just sort of sloppily choreographed one-off shots, blah, blah, blah. So,
blah, blah. That's a good way to sum up the movie.
Now let's talk about that dog in the bathroom some more.
Okay, all right, we'll circle back. What do you got?
Nah, that's...
Oh, it's your favorite thing in the world.
I did enjoy that. So we're gonna wrap up and say goodbye, No Holds Barred. You were fun, but
We're moving on.
we're moving on. So now we pick something we enjoyed this week. Two things. Like I said, I've been watching the Eco Challenge on Netflix, which I have a lot of problems with, but it's also pretty fun because you get to see like real people that do this thing and
Sure.
have done it for a long time, and they're super interesting. And then there's also on Netflix, there's a thing called, I think it was Super Cubers, about Rubik's Cube kids, the kids that do the
Ooh.
speed Rubik's Cubes.
Blows my mind.
And there's two main kids, the kid that's sort of fading, and then the other kid who's sort of on the rise. And the one rise kid is a Korean kid, Korean American, but he's autistic,
Oh, okay.
which is really interesting. But and it's like 40 minutes, really nice. Look at these characters, look at these real people. And it's nice to see like these real people when you sort of
Sure.
get buried in characters that aren't fully formed at all, because real people have so many dimensions.
Ain't that the truth?
Ain't the fact. What do you got for us, Tony?
So I'm going to go a little off the rails on this one because I had a disappointing media week. We tried to watch, or we did watch. We watched Palm Springs this week, which I was disappointed in.
I don't know what that is.
And we watched Space Force, which I was also pretty much disappointed. There was a couple
Wait,
of good
what's-
moments I liked.
What's Space Force?
Space Force is the Steve Carell show on Netflix.
That was my first review. I did a whole review of it.
Oh, did you? Did you like it?
No, it's horrible. It is the
Okay,
biggest
yeah,
piece
yeah.
of garbage ever. And we could
Well,
do
I don't know about that.
Oh my God. That's why we're doing this show. Was I watched that and I did my
This was
review.
the impetus of that?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I did my review of that and I did my review of Ad Astra, both things that made me so angry.
I never saw Ad Astra. So real quickly, and then I'll get to my actual recommendation. Did you watch the whole series of Space Force?
Oh God, no. I watched the first episode and then I watched the first 5 minutes of the second episode and I was like, this is garbage.
Okay. I liked the second episode for the Chimpsternaut bit. It really got me going. It was good.
Oh, is the chimp up there and he's trying to...
Yeah.
I watched the whole second episode. It was horrible.
Oh no.
Oh, so
I
bad.
will say we did finish it, and we're not crazy about it. Like so those are not my recommendations. Instead, the only thing that brought me joy this week was this is a musical release, actually, not a musical movie, like an actual album.
Wait, you're picking a record?
Yes, just hear me out. All right, I had a tough week.
Excuse me
I didn't
while I
see
change
anything I liked.
the rules.
I am changing the rules. I said I'm going off the rails.
Is it
but
like
Old Dominion?
Blink 182 or something?
I mean, Blink is great. They released a new song called Quarantine, which I really enjoy. But Old Dominion re-released their latest album in what they call the Meow Mix, which is where he replaced all of the lyrics with the word meow.
I don't know. I don't even know anything you're saying. Old Dominion? You mean like the
Old Dominion is a country band.
a country
not the
band?
school. It's a country band, Old Dominion. They're like country rock kind of thing. But they re-released their newest album with the lyrics replaced with the word meow, and I've listened to it several times through because it makes me laugh super hard.
Well, that is freaking pathetic.
Well, Dan, give me some good things to watch, then.
I would go back into the Hollywood Dan Goodsell persona to smack you down over that, but he does not stoop that low. So we're going to start picking horror movies soon.
Soon.
2 more weeks.
Almost October.
Almost October, or at least when these shows will. So my pick this week, I had this one pick, and it was queued up, and I watched the first 10 minutes. I'd never seen it before, and it's really bad. We'll do it again. And then I was looking around, and then I saw this other movie, and I was like, I watched the first 10 minutes of this movie. Okay, this is my movie. 2008 American romantic comedy.
Okay.
2008 was the year that these movies came out. Dark Knight,
Right. Yep.
Iron Man,
Right.
Indiana Jones,
Right.
Wall-E, Kung Fu Panda, Twilight, Mamma Mia, Get Smart. We're going to have to go back to Get Smart at some point.
Get Smart, yeah.
Tropic Thunder.
Oh, Tropic Thunder.
One of the greatest movies of all time.
So good.
Maybe top 10 comedies of the past 30 years.
Oh, for sure.
Journey to the Center of the Earth. The movie that Brendan...
I never saw that. Yeah, Brendan Fraser.
That was the end of his career.
Yeah.
Pineapple Express.
Ooh.
The Happening. Ugh.
Marky Mark.
This movie's down at number 92 on the box office list. 92. Down below...
Of 2008?
2008. 92. Wow. American romantic comedy. Jessica Alba.
Okay.
Justin Timberlake. John Oliver. Ben Kingsley.
Is this Valentine's Day?
And star Mike Myers.
Guru.
The Love Guru.
Oh! Okay. I never saw it.
I had not seen it either. I've seen the first 10
excited.
minutes of this movie.
Okay. And it's good.
It is not good. It is.
Let me ask you a question, Dan.
So not good.
Are you a Mike Myers fan?
Sure. I'm a huge fan.
Okay.
And this is the movie that killed his career.
Yes.
He put this movie out, and I should have said that at the beginning. This is one of those career-killing movies. And
I love those.
We've done a couple of them now, and it just, his career, he had to go and do the Gong Show and has not appeared in anything. And he starred and co-wrote this thing, and it is just a pile.
I can't wait. I'm genuinely so excited for this movie. It's been on my watch list for a while.
Oh, really?
And it's been hard to get myself to do it because I love him so much.
Yeah, and that's I think this is one of those movies where you're gonna have to go in and watch some of the other movies and say, why did these movies successful? And I'm gonna definitely watch one of the Austin Powers ones before one of those. And say what you want about the Wayne's World movies, they're not great movies, but they're great characters. They're not.
Oh, well, for sure.
The characters are incredible. Structuring a character out into a movie is always a very hard thing to do.
I don't know. That ballroom blitz scene, so good.
What's the ballroom blitz scene?
Turn into a ballroom blitz. They perform that song and there's like a fight. It doesn't really matter.
Is that at the end? I think it's the final scene?
I think it's the end of the second one.
Oh, okay.
I think. I can't remember. Maybe it's the end of the first one. They blend together, if I'm being honest.
Movies blend together. So that's the end of this episode of Hate Watching with Dan and Tony. I'm Dan, and that's...
Woo!
And that's...
I'm Tony!
And we're going to see you next time at the YouTube. We got to figure out an ending.
Hey, watching!